You are tuned to Good Taste Brekky with Chloe and Elle this morning. Now, one of my favourite shows, of course, is Masterchef, and it's a really interesting story. This gentleman started out his career as an electrician, and then he won Masterchef in 2012. Consequently, now this year, he has come back as a judge, and he is joining us on the line this morning. Andy Allen, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, guys. How you going?
Great, thanks. Absolutely in shock, utter horror, devastation that Reynolds left last night.
What is happening?
I know. It was a big episode last night, wasn't it?
It was huge. We just got off the phone to him, actually, and he said you owe him a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I probably do. But, hey, I'm sure, look, Reynolds has been one of the best contestants that kitchen has ever seen, which I'm sure you guys agree. Yeah, unfortunately, it really does prove that if you just have a bad day, like anyone can go. I mean, that was probably Reynolds to take that challenge. It probably suited him the most. And unfortunately, as I said, if you have one bad day, it doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing, you can walk out the doors, unfortunately. And it was emotional last night. Did you guys reckon that?
Yeah,
Yes.
It was a tearjerker, that's for sure.
Were you guys like, no, we can't let him go, but we have to? Like, how was that process?
Look, we've always said at the start we judge the dish and not the person, you know, and we've really stuck to that. It's been an unbelievably fair competition, and that's what we've kind of hung our hats on. I suppose it was tough, I'm not going to lie. It was tough to see the back of him just because we know how much passion he has for the competition and to win, you know. He has really high standards for himself, which is probably why he's so successful. Yeah, but, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, we judge the dish and not the person. So, yeah, it just had to be Reynolds' day, unfortunately.
Yeah. And how's it gone for you going from a contestant to actually being a judge?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. You know, going on MasterChef 8 years ago, I literally never expected to get on the show. And then to come out through 8 months of that, the winner, and then to go out into the food industry, you know, and have 5 restaurants now and be, you know, I suppose reasonably successful in the hospitality industry, which is not easy at the best of times, when we've got a pandemic going on.
Right.
And then being asked to come back and be a judge, it was kind of like the ultimate tick of approval, you know what I mean? Like, it means that, you know, what I have done is all worth it in the industry, and it was kind of like, if they asked me to do that, then I must be okay, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. What's been your highlight so far as a judge?
Look, I think day one was extremely hard to beat. The guys walk into Gordon Ramsay standing under a light, the light turning on, and then Gordon introducing you as the next judge. I mean, there's no bigger name in the industry than Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And to have him there, not just for that first challenge, but for that whole first week, I think the contestants will never forget that. And us three as judges, he just set like a platform for us, and it was so amazing and natural for us to follow his lead and just to get to know him also. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Reynolds actually said that was his highlight too, so they haven't forgotten.
Yeah, I could imagine that, you know, Reynolds loves chefs. You know, he's a chef. He really idolises chefs, and as I said, there's no bigger in the industry than Gordon. So for him to be there, standing there when Reynolds walked through the door, and then for Reynolds to pull out white noise, which is one of his aces up his sleeve on day one, and get the feedback that he did. I can understand why Reynolds loved it as well.
Yeah. Now, Andy, you started your career as a Sparky. Now you're known as a chef. Was there a transition period where people stopped ringing you to come over and fix their lights and instead wanted you to cook for them?
It's funny that every Christmas I go home to my parents' place, and no matter what I've done, I mean, you guys rattled off before, was an electrician, then won MasterChef, then, you know, have gone out into the industry with the 3 Blue Ducks and opened a few restaurants. Now a judge on MasterChef, and I still get my mum asking me if I want to go back and finish my final exam to like get my accreditation to be an electrician.
Just have that backup.
Come on. Yeah, it's always good to have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times I've heard that in my life. So the answer is yes. My mother, every year.
You also played basketball. I mean, are you excited about the NBA going to Disneyland?
Yeah, I am actually. Being ISO in Melbourne solo, I cannot wait for Wednesday, you know, to just be following something. I mean, it's been amazing with the AFL and all of the sports to continue what they've been doing. I'm a sports nut, so just to see how each individual sport has adapted, especially the AFL, you know, moved clubs, moved families and all that sort of stuff. It's been extremely inspiring and just great for, I think, even just my mental health, like to be able to come home on the weekends and, you're not allowed to really do something. For me, it's cooking and watching sport. If I have one of those things away, then, I've only got cooking, which is amazing, but it's just a privilege to be able to sit back and barrack for whoever your team is and watch sport in these crazy, crazy times.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of cooking, Andy, we have been asking all the contestants what their favourite easy go-to meal is that you can just whip up during the week that people like us can do that maybe aren't as good as perhaps Reynolds.
Plebs.
But just something easy, something simple you can whip up during the week that's still great.
So I'm a pasta fiend. Obviously, not obviously, but I exercise a lot, so I need my carb intake to continue to have energy.
That's where we've been going wrong.
A bit of pasta.
So you're supposed to exercise.
There's nothing traditional about this, and there's nothing revolutionary about this either, but I have this pasta it's like blistered cherry tomatoes, onions, garlic, anchovies, basil, a little bit of chili, and some lemon zest. And by the time the cherry tomatoes are blistered and the sauce has done its thing, you've cooked your pasta. The pasta goes from the water into the sauce. You toss it around, a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano, and then it's done. So,
do you remember when I said easy?
Simple?
It's too hot. It's too hot.
Andy, Reynolds just gave us 2 sachets that we put together.
Easy mac
and cheese.
And some packet soup with croutons.
Okay. I failed at the easy part.
Oh, no, it does sound good.
I failed at the easy part.
Andy, thanks so much for joining us on the show. We're looking forward to see who takes out the title tonight.
No worries, guys. Thanks, and thanks for all your support this year too. It's been, I've talked to you a few times now, and you guys have been lovely. So thanks so much.
Oh, thanks, Andy.
Welcome. Have a great morning.